16 upon 4 minus square root of 15 all under square root. We have to simplify it. To simplify it, first we have to rationalize the denominator. To rationalize the denominator, we do conjugate multiplication. What is conjugate multiplication? Conjugate of x plus y is x minus y, while conjugate of x minus y is x plus y. So conjugate of 4 minus square root of 15 will be 4 plus square root of 15. So let's multiply and divide it by the conjugate of 4 minus square root of 15. 16 upon 4 minus square root of 15, multiply and divide by 4 plus square root of 15 upon 4 plus square root of 15 all under square root. So this is 16 times 4 plus square root of 15 upon 4 minus square root of 15 times 4 plus square root of 15 under square root. Now this is in the form of a minus b times a plus b, and this is equal to differences of square, a square minus b square. So in the numerator, let's multiply. 16 times 4 is 64 plus 16 times square root of 15 is 16 times square root of 15 upon 4 square minus square root of 15 square under square root, or 64 plus 16 times square root of 15 upon 4 square is 16, and we can remove the square root with this square, so this is minus 15 under square root. 16 minus 15 is 1, so we can remove the denominator. 64 plus 16 times square root of 15 under square root. Now here again we have to, now here to simplify further, we need to remove this square root. To remove this square root, if we can write this number in terms of a plus minus b whole square, then we can remove the square root with this square. So let's try. 64 we can write it as 40 plus 24 plus 16 as 2 times 8 times square root of 15 under square root, or 40 plus 24 plus 2 times 8 we can write it as square root of 64, because square root of 64 is 8, then times square root of 15 under square root. Now we know when square root of a times square root of b, we can write it as a times b under square root. So we can write it as 40 plus 24 plus 2 times 64 times 15 under square root, then all under square root, or 40 plus 24 plus 2. 64 we can break it down into 2 raised to the power 6, or let's write it as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 15 as 5 times 3. Now 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 5 is 40. Then we are left with 8 times 3. So 64 times 15 we can write it as 40 times 24, or 40 plus 24 plus 2 under square root 40 times 24, or we can also write it as square root of 40 times square root of 24 under square root. Now if a is under square root, we can square it to remove the square root. So this will be equal to a. So we can write a as square root of a square. So we can write 40 as square root of 40 square plus 24 as square root of 24 square plus 2 times 40 under square root times 24 under square root, then all under square root. Now if you consider square root of 40 as a and square root of 24 as b, then this is in the form of a square plus b square plus 2ab, and this is an algebraic expression. This we can write it as a plus b whole square. So this we can write square root of 40 plus square root of 24 whole square under square root. Now remove the square root with this square. So we have square root of 40 plus square root of 24. Now square root of 40, this we can write 5 times 8 under square root plus 24 as 3 times 8 under square root, or again if a times b under square root, we can write it as square root of a times square root of b. So we can write it as square root of 5 times square root of 8 plus square root of 3 times square root of 8. Now you can take square root of 8 common and write square root of 8 parenthesis square root of 5 plus square root of 3. Now square root of 8 can be further simplified as 2 times square root of 2, because square root of 8 we can write it as 2 square times 2 under square root, and this can be written as square root of 2 square times square root of 2. You can remove the square root with the square. So square root of 8 is 2 times square root of 2, then parenthesis square root of 5 plus square root of 3. So this is our answer. We can put the values of square root of 2, square root of 5 and square root of 3 to find the final answer, or we can leave it here as the question is asking for simplification. How did you solve it? Let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching.